Hey guys, welcome back to Call Me After Coffee. My name is Bree. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been around for a while, thanks for showing up again. Right off the bat, I woke up this morning and my son has given me his kindergarten plague, so that's great. My voice is probably going to sound a little bit weird, but I really need to film some videos, so I decided I'd do it today in case it's worse next week. Getting into it, as you can see by the title, this is Things I Hate in Books, and the title is a little more cut and dry than I am as a person. These are not necessarily things that will make me hate a book, but these are definitely things that I don't like. The first thing on the list is something that I've more recently realized that I don't like, but it's definitely something I don't like in movies and I don't like in books. The first thing is the lost time kind of trope, like where people get together as like teenagers and then they separate for a really long time and then they get back together later. On one hand, it's like satisfying that they end up together, but it always makes my heart really sad and it kind of like bothers me if there's a reason why they could have been together, or like especially if they have been apart but they've been like lonely and miserable the entire time. That really like makes me sad. So yeah, I don't really like lost time. Like it just makes me sad that like you could have had so much more time together. But I mean, I guess also maybe it wouldn't have worked out the first time or something like that. I don't know. I hate lost time. And I think that's maybe just like a nostalgia kind of thing. Like both sets of my grandparents were married like 60 years or something. And I would love to be able to spend 60 years with the person that I love, and like to think that I could have possibly like if I had missed out on 20 of those years or something, it makes me feel so sad. So the next thing on the list is miscommunication. I hate miscommunication. I hate it so much. I know that sometimes it has to happen to like, you know, make the plot a little bit dramatic. I can handle it if it's a little bit. But honestly, there are some books where I'm like, if you just opened your mouth and used your words, there would be no reason for the book. And like, that's when it really bothers me, when like everything could have been like fixed if you just spoke about it. One like little example of where it's done well is like in Montauk, I think, and this isn't spoilery, but there's a part where someone is like keeping a secret and they keep it, but like not for that long. And then eventually they do tell the person. And my favorite thing is that the person doesn't like go off on a tirade once they find out like the truth or whatever. They're like really awesome about it. But I hate when like the whole book is drawn out and you're like, if you just told them, none of this other stuff would have happened. None of this drama would have happened. Like I hate it so much. And that will really bring down a book. Like especially if people are like trying to keep a secret that they don't need to keep, and they do really stupid things because they're keeping this secret, and then they try to like say they had to do these things, and you're like, no, you really actually didn't have to do any of those things. You could have just told the person the truth. Third one on the list is insta-love. Honestly, this is like, it depends on the book. Some things I can kind of let it slide. It's not a huge deal. But obviously if it's like a book where it's heavily based around a romance and you have no idea why these people are together, kind of like, I feel like A Bend in the Road kind of does this. I know I said I wasn't going to do spoilers. Screw this. A Bend in the Road kind of does this where the people like meet and then they're like instantaneously in love, and then all of a sudden it flashes forward like 6 months or something, and you're like, why do these people like each other? How do they even know each other? Like, I mean, you know how they know each other, but it's just like, it flashes forward like 6 months and you get no basis like for why they wanted to be together. And then you don't really care about them because you don't know their story very much. It's just like, they met, they got together, and now they're like madly in love. And I don't like that. I don't like when it's really rushed. I like it. It's not necessarily that it needs to take like years and years or anything like that, but like, if you meet someone and then like a day later you're madly in love with them, it's kind of off-putting, I think, and some people really don't care. And I know this is like a popular one for things that people don't like, is like insta-love, but I have to know the characters, I need to like the characters, and I need to like slowly watch them like come around and like each other. That's just a thing that I like. And it's okay if they like each other off the bat, I just don't like it when it's like obsessive for each other and like they're instantly like inseparable, and it's just like, I think that happened like a little bit fast. Next on the list is open endings. I feel like there's a better phrase for this, but I can't think of what it is, and like the cold that is in my head right now is not letting me think properly. Ambiguous, is that the word? Ambiguous endings, like where you kind of, it's like choose your own adventure. It's left open and you can kind of decide what you think happened. I really don't like endings like that. Like I just want to know what the author wanted the story to do. Like that's what I want. Ava Lavender kind of has that kind of an ending, and so does The Night Circus. It's just, you don't know what happened, and that kind of bothers me, even though I really loved Ava Lavender. I thought that book was great. I really, really enjoyed it. It was just the ending that I don't like, and I have a feeling that magical realism is just kind of like that because it's like kind of a weird genre. I haven't read that much of it, and I did enjoy it, but I just don't like the ambiguous, like, open endings where you don't really know what happened. I would want to know what the author wanted to happen and then, like, let my heart either, like, make or break itself. And that's just how I feel. I just like things to be, like, definite. The next one on the list is also about endings, and I don't like when endings are, like, overly wrapped up. One of my favorite books ever is All the Light We Cannot See. I love that book. I love everything about it except maybe the last 20 pages. There is a certain point in that book where I think if the author had stopped there, it would have been like a 7-star book for me. And I mean, it was still a 5-star. I really loved it. The ending wasn't that long, so I didn't want to take off a half-star or a star or anything like that. But the way that it was wrapped up, it kind of, there's like that really, really hard-hitting gut punch, and then there's like another 20 pages where it's like you stop thinking about like the horrendous gut punchy thing that happens, and like some more horrible things happen, but it just seems so overly finished. But I really loved that book. It was just, I don't like when the endings are just overly done. The other one is Into the Water, which is a book that I really hated, but that ending, it wrapped up every single character. It was like, I don't know how many characters there were. It felt like there were like a dozen characters, and it went in to explain what every single person you came across in the book ended up doing after the book was finished. And I was like, I already don't care about these people. I already didn't like this book, and now I have to figure out what every single person I don't care about is doing now. And so that's how I felt about that one. Next on the list is When Characters Don't Stay Dead. Now, how do I explain this? This isn't something that's going to necessarily make me hate a book. Like, if someone dies, or you think that they die, and then they don't, it can be kind of satisfying if it's someone that you really, really love. But then if it happens again, and then again, and again, and again, and you're just like, after the first time, I would be leery the second time of like, well, did that person actually die? And if that person doesn't stay dead, then I don't care about any of the characters anymore, because I'm just convinced that the author won't kill anybody, but they like to put them in precarious situations, break your heart for a second, and then go, just kidding, and like, I'm not down for that. There are particular books, I don't want to say what, because it's a huge spoiler, but there is a book, and someone dies at the end of it, and like, I was in my head like, no, this cannot happen, there's no way that this happened. It was like, I didn't believe it. I was like literally waiting for this person to like not be dead, and they stayed dead, and it was incredibly heartbreaking. It was so sad. But if that person had come back, then I wouldn't have like believed that anybody else in the books could have died, I guess. I don't know. It's like, I didn't want them to die because I loved the character, but also the fact that they stayed dead made like it so much better going forward. It just makes me not put my heart into the story if I don't believe that the people are gonna like that something bad can happen to them, because then I just like I like disassociate myself with it and I don't get emotional anymore because I don't care anymore. And then the last thing on the list is revenge plots. And these are like, again, not something I'm gonna like necessarily hate the book over, but I read a book and I can't remember what it's called now, something Mountain. It was like a mystery thriller. It's not the best book, but the writing was okay, whatever, yada yada. It was almost like a double revenge plot. So there was like a character in the book who was trying to get revenge, and then it also has the character doesn't stay dead trope, which I don't like, and then also it had a second revenge plot in it. And it was like, I really didn't like, I liked the book okay, like I had an enjoyable read up until all this stuff came to happen, and I was like, nope, the person didn't die, everybody's just super vengeful, and like I just completely ruined the book. Like it took it from like maybe a 3.5 star to like a 2, because I just wasn't into it. Those are the things that I came up with just off the top of my head. I'm sure there are more things, and I'll have to like keep a running note so I can maybe do an update on this when I've read more books and like find more things I dislike about certain books. Let me know down below what things you really hate in books. Like just let me know like what are your biggest pet peeves when you're reading. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell next to it so you don't miss future notifications. I do upload most Mondays and Thursdays if you're wondering, and I will talk to you guys all in my next video. Thanks so much for hanging out. Bye. Thank you.